Your husband.
Let's not make it personal. What?
No, I'm not joking. I wanted to play with William Parker, and there was no other place to do that but New York.
Well, how did you hear about?
Because he's on a Had Art record. I think it was Calling in the 8th Cecil Taylor album that I listened to it as a teenager, and he stood out to me as someone who was rooted in the jazz avant-garde of the 60s, but was a new phenomenon. And at this point, this would have been in the 70s when I was listening, and I said, this guy points to something in the future also. So despite the fact that he was playing with Don Cherry and Cecil Taylor and figures from that generation, I knew that somebody from my own generation needed to hook up with him, and he was like a bridge between generations. I don't know where I'm going, no, but I do. I mean, it is spontaneous, and I just sit down and start playing, but I do practice, a lot. So, right. But I mean, when I perform, I try to be as open to the moment, and whatever happens, happens. This is solo. It's different with a trio, or if I have a trio, there's usually more of a program, even though that can get changed very quickly within. And solo, it really gives you the opportunity to be as open to the moment and as spontaneous as you can, because it's all on me, so I can. So I'm when I play solo, I usually just sit down. Sometimes when I do like a whole concert, if it's an hour, I usually play some standards and other stuff that I weave into the whole composition of the night. So sometimes going into it, I know I'm going to play this song or this one composition of mine, and sometimes I get there and everything I plan, it happens just the opposite. So. Becomes part of an environment, and it's not thinking, it's just trying to be open to the environment and letting whatever happens, because it's all too fast to think. I mean, it's just, so you're open, you just try to be very open to the environment and open to what makes the other artists tick, and then trying to really find something in your vocabulary that relates to something in the other artist's vocabulary. And when obviously we can speak to each other, so there is some mutual language field that we share. I mean, as Emerson would say, it's all one mind, and that's why we can even talk to each other. And I assume, even if it's different idioms, like a poet and a pianist, or a dancer and a pianist, that you're still performing within the same medium, if it's a stage or a room, and you guys have something in common, so there's some element of your language and their language that does connect. You might spend half the performance trying to find that, but it's there.